Chapter 38, Part A, the Jesus Trilogy, Book 2, Then There Were Two. What do you think, my good scholar? Josephus said. No, you're the good scholar. What do you think? Jesus said. You guys are far too indecisive. Let a woman make up your mind for you. Josephus and Jesus laughed. My teacher, Mr. Martin, says that Sodom is in this area. She pointed to the map spread out on the table. Thought he'd come upon it once, but it got too dark, and the next day he couldn't find the same spot. I really don't like this Mr. Martin, but he does have a deep knowledge of Judean history, Jesus said. Well, I'd like to talk to him sometime, but today is our last day in these parts. We go to Masada tomorrow and then on to Jerusalem. Where will we stay? Mary asked. At my place, Mary, Josephus said. Have you room? Mary asked. Why, yes, a great plenty. My father and I have a 12-room home across from Jerusalem on Mount Olivet. Oh, it's pretty there, Mary cooed. Jesus squeezed her hand. As he did so, a wave of nausea hit her stomach and she doubled over. Jesus put his arm on her shoulder. She took several deep breaths and the wave eased. The temple priests say that the site of Sodom and Gomorrah is smoking. We should easily be able to spot it. What's that over there? Mary asked, pointing to the western sky. That, Jesus said, why, it's just a cloud. No, silly husband, over on that mountain, the white spot. I don't know, but I do see it. Well, there ain't nothing there, Josephus interrupted. Let's go look. I'm not sure you should, Mary, Jesus said. His arm went around her. She gently pushed it away, saying, I love you, but my stomach does not. Well, let's do it, Josephus said. It's just a couple hours before the sun would hit the horizon. The heat was stifling, but it was cooler than it had been the past couple of days. The three headed across the 1 mile stretch of desert to the base of the little rocky hill. The white spot appeared to be halfway up the hill. The three climbed slowly. There seemed at times to be a path, but it would give out intermittently. He negotiated the rocky terrain, the surprisingly rejuvenated Mary leading the way. It took about 20 minutes, but the white spot grew bigger and bigger as they grew closer. It was now clearly visible only 100 yards or so ahead, and it appeared to be some sort of mound. The terrain was rough. A lot of limestone and loose rock were scattered about. Mary eased across the last of the loose rock, and the track reformed about 10 yards before they reached the white mound. As they walked toward it, they could see it was a mound about 8 feet high and fairly symmetrical on all sides. It sloped down on all sides to the limestone rock of the trail. Some 18 feet in diameter, a white ring of powder encircled it. Mary reached down and touched her finger to the powder. She brought it to her mouth and tasted it. Salt, she said. The idea ricocheted through their three brains at exactly the same instant. It can't be, Jesus said. Yes, it can, Josephus said, clapping his hands together. Josephus is shorter than Jesus, about 5'10". He tried to reach up his hand to the top of the mound, but couldn't quite make it. Jesus, with a few extra inches of wingspan, was able to reach up and feel the top of the mound. There was powder, but there was also something cool and smooth. He began to work his way around it. It was about a foot across and circular. He was on tiptoe, and his hands started to get weak. Here, I'll boost you up, Josephus. My hand is getting weak. Jesus held his two hands together in the shape of a stirrup and held Josephus up. Mary, meanwhile, was getting some rocks together and piling them up against the mound. She stood on them and finally was able to see the top of the mound. What she saw was a dome of pure crystal. Oh, look, she exclaimed. What is it? We can't see, honey. It's a crystal dome. I've got to get up there. Can you push me up? Josephus urged his friend. Jesus obliged, and soon Mary and Josephus were both perched precariously on the peak of the mound. Be careful, baby. Can't have anything happen to you, Jesus said. What about me? Josephus said, nearly losing his balance. The two knelt down on the top of the mound. The sun shone on the crystal dome. Carefully, the two began to dissect away the salty powder form of the crystal. What is it? Jesus called up. Some kind of sphere, Josephus said. No, I think it's a skull. What? A skull? I think it's a skull. The more the two dug, the more evident it became that Mary was indeed correct. Is it attached to a body? Jesus asked. Finally, the spear came loose. Josephus held up a perfect crystal skull. He couldn't believe it. Here, catch, Josephus said, and tossed the crystal skull down to his unsuspecting friend. Jesus juggled it for a few seconds in an attempt to catch it, and finally succeeded. What is it? He asked. It's Lot's wife. At least her head, Mary said. Can't be, Josephus said. Sodom was down by the Dead Sea. No, his wife would have to go over this mountain to escape Sodom, but we all know the story. She looked back, Mary said. Yes, and the trail, though partially destroyed, was one they could have taken to escape Sodom before Jehovah burned to the ground, Josephus said. The three held their positions and stared in silence at the crystal sphere, forming violet orange reflections from the light of the sun. They were staring into the now crystal clear eyes of Lot's wife. That is an absolutely beautiful skull, honey, Mary said. Yes, but I expected it's something that was carved by an artisan, Jesus said skeptically. No, I really think it's Lot's wife. What was her name? Jesus asked. I can't recall, Mary said. If anyone knows, Mary would, Jesus said. Well, I still think it is, Mary said through pouted lips. It was in the perfect spot, encased in salt and on the trail over the mountain. But there was no body, Jesus argued. The three had dug down in the salt mound but found no evidence of a body. Well, we've only got a little time left to look, but if it's Lot's wife, then the smoking plain should be nearby, Josephus said. Yes, it should, Mary said. Her nausea was almost constant now, but it would let up some in the afternoon. So she rose and began to walk toward the carriage. There were two men who drove the carriage, and one assisted Mary and the two men into the carriage. It was all white with a sumptuous interior, including a little music box, which played 20 different tunes. Number one on the charts for this year, 20 AD, was a song called Honesty. It had a lilting beat and was the two lovers, Mary and Jesus' favorite song, sung by a group called Dog Star. Two guys and a girl. Josephus was more into the classics. One of the tunes in the box was Jubal's Third Symphony, a work over 1,000 years old but still revered by the musical community. The three alternated the two songs as they rode along in the hot sun. The man who wasn't driving would occasionally run a small ceiling fan, which was attached to one of the carriage wheels by a belt, but the little fan didn't give much relief from the desert heat. The three drank gallons of water, especially during the heat of the day. Jesus would almost constantly wipe Mary's forehead with a wet cloth.